Hi, and welcome to the last of the 15-part series on Git. We're going to focus on one of the underappreciated, but one of the most important things that will be in your toolbox of commands to run, and this is to revert a previous commit. So working on projects, large Git projects where I have somewhere around 40 people working on the project, there's going to be some point where someone's going to commit something that's going to break the build, or it's going to cause problems for other people. And so in most cases, the check-in is very small, so it should be really easy to manually revert that check-in and get it fixed. But in some cases where the check-in is actually large, you can't really do that by hand. You're going to miss something. And so that's where Git's revert functionality is super handy. There's three different ways that you can do this, and I'm going to show you all three. So the first one is temporarily switching to a different commit. So I'm going to make a change here. What I'm going to do is I've already created this change called this change needs to be reverted to our handy readme.md file. And so I'm going to go into Git here, and what I've already done is I'm going to go ahead and git checkout development, and then git checkout. So I'm going to get up to date with the repository, make sure I'm pushed and everything's all happy. So now that I've done this, this change has been made and then pushed to the remote server. And if I go to git log, which shows me all the check-ins, you can see I made this check-in, revert this check-in. So, okay, this is our offending change. This is the change that needs to be backed out. So I'll press the Q key to quit out of that. And so I'm going to check out the last change. So the easiest way to do this is if you go to git log, you can see this is head. So the head is always the latest commit to the Git repository. And so what I'm going to do is check out the previous change. Check out the previous change before that change was made, just on my local copy. So we can say git checkout head ~1. And so that means give me the checkout before I made that check-in to revert. So you can see right here, this would be the change. So I should see putting this thing back after this. So you can see putting change back, and if I go to my file, I can see that that line at the very top was gone. So now that that file is gone, it looks like we need to fix this for other users. So this is only changing it just to my local repository. So if you want to roll the change back locally and just test it out and see how it works, before you push it and make it available to all other users, this is a great option. So now that we've looked at that locally, I'm going to reset to origin development. So I'm going to get reset hard origin development saying, put my repository back to the state that it was before. So you can see I now match exactly what was at the remote repository. Just to make sure that I'm on the correct branch, I'm going to switch over back to those branches so I can make sure that all my changes will be put up to date. And you can see that change is still there. So I'm going to git checkout development. Okay, so now that was just temporary switching locally. So the next one I'm going to show you is this is to hard delete that unpublished commit. So if you really want to get rid of anything you've done since then, there's really one good option here. And so the one way that you can do this is to reset hard back to their local change. So if you've already made this change and you've committed it locally, you can check it out. So using the override or removal local push local commit. So we've already shown you how to do this in a previous part of the series. I believe it was let's see, undo your last commit. So this was shown in lab 2 on how to remove it locally. So that's great. So we have that there, but that's removing it locally. That's not removing it for other users. So that was the second way you can do it. So if you want to review that one, check it out in lab number 2. This last one I'm going to show you is how to remove the publication or how to remove that push to the repository such that the other users can't see it. So if you remember, tab number 1 here is user number 1, and tab number 2 is user number 2 here. So I'm going to pretend that I'm a new user. I'm going to check out that development branch. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to less the README file, and you can see I see this change here. This change needs to be reverted. So what I was doing here is just getting my repository caught up because I didn't have that ready for this particular session. So we see this changes here. It needs to be reverted. So we'll use this client over here, which has the same copy of that repository, to verify that the changes we've made on user 1 are actually correct. So again, I'm going to go back to GiT log, and I'm going to get the hash of the commit. So the commit hash here is this bunch of letters and numbers that represent the actual check-in. So we're going to use this to tell Git, get rid of this check-in, because ultimately I want to get back to here. I want to remove this check-in. So with the command here, we can say git revert, and I punch in the number of the check-in. So that is one way of doing it. You can also say get revert head -1 ... head. So this will get rid of, this will get a range. So this will say get rid of the last commit. So it looks like I'm in the middle of a commit. So get revert this check-in. So you can see I've got the get revert, and this change commits, change reverts that commit. So I have this nice Vim editor, and I can add notes here, adding notes to the message. And then obviously it's Vim, so we have to press the escape key in order to get back into the menu mode, and I press :X, which is to save and exit. So now you can see the revert was checked in, the revert check-in, adding the notes, and you can see 1 file change, 2 deletions. So Git's telling us we changed something. And if I go to this file, you can see, hey, that line's gone. Looks like we got rid of it. And if we go to git log, you can see revert this check-in, putting change back. You can see there's another check-in saying, hey, that check-in was reverted. And it actually explicitly says BDD 375 was reverted. So now that we've made this change locally, it's not pushed yet. So this is only available just on my console. So I'm going to do a git push. I'm going to push this check-in and the revert up to the repository. So now I'm going to switch over to the second tab here and pretend I'm user number 2. And let's look and see if the README file hasn't changed. It says this change needs to be reverted. I'm now going to do a git pull. So I'm going to pull down the changes that I just pushed. And you can see the README file has changed. And I'm going to less README. And you can see that line is gone. Great. So we've reverted the bad check-in. Now, if I'm on the other user, so I'm another user, and I'll see what was changed here, I can go to git log, and I can see the same thing that other users are seeing. So I can actually tell that that check-in was backed out. So there is a log about who actually did that change. And there you go. This is probably one of the most useful tools for very large check-ins and very large commits that users can use to help make it a lot easier for rolling back big changes to repository. Thank you.